Let me ask you. I want to ask Sharon, Tony, and Marion in that order. What do you think is the single most strongest impediment to Washington D.C. statehood? Sharon, if you go first.
Well, I mean, I think it's one is the pure politics of it. I mean, you have you have a predictable Democratic right now, foreseeable future Democratic senators, and I think that's a huge impediment. But I think deep within the psyche of the federal government, be it Democrat or Republican, they enjoy having the District of Columbia as sort of this feudal relationship. And I really don't think we have as many friends on the Democratic Party side as we would like to believe. And I just think they're so accustomed to having us in that kind of subordinate relationship. And I don't mean it even in a unkind way. It's just that they have access to this federal city. They don't want us to become a separate sovereign entity. Maybe with the original creation of the Washington D.C., there was always that anxiety of it becoming a state and having the capacity to challenge what was then a very fragile federal system. And I think we've still struggled with that tension, even in 2013.
Tony and Marion, I would ask both of you all to even expound. Barack Obama came in office and had a majority in both houses. Why didn't it happen then?
My view is that right now, more people in the United States live in a metropolitan area now than live in a rural area. That's a big watershed moment. In 2050, 75% of the world's population is going to live in an urban area. And I say that because politically and demographically, the country is becoming more urban, it's becoming more progressive, but as a kind of almost like legacy vestige, constitutionally and structurally, it's still Republican and urban. That's why you still have a Republican House, even though Democrats got more votes. So what's keeping us back, I think, statehood-wise and self-determination-wise, is it's more Democratic voice, and I think there's also back out there this anti-urban kind of feeling, which is related racially, going on too.
Any prediction quickly on when statehood might happen? Mayor for life.
Let me answer the original question. It's very clear to me that there are some people don't want statehood, us to have statehood, because one, electorally, we would have two senators that are more than likely going to be Democratic. We are urban. We are predominantly. We're still close to be predominantly black. We're going to have black representatives, like Eleanor Holmes Norton up there. And we're urban, so you got all those forces coalescing around us. I think the most predominant one, quite frankly, is race. I really do. I think if we were majority white, District of Columbia, we'd have been further along in this whole thing.
So let me ask. So the city, Washington D.C., is becoming more and more Caucasian. And do you think with the advent of that there might be a greater likelihood of D.C. getting statehood?
That might be, except here's the problem, I think. We've had over 30,000 people in the last 2 years coming to Washington, D.C. Most of them have been upper middle and middle class people, white people, about 90% of them, 95%. The problem with people coming to Washington, we had to get them activated and actively involved in us. A lot of the people who come here still have votes in other states. Now, if we can mobilize them to call their senators and Congress people, that may be an asset, Tony. They are here.
Well, let me
I talked
say.
to Matt about that just last week. How do we get the new people coming in and be active, one in the neighborhood, and not just take it over, but be a part of it? And since we're talking about gentrification de facto, is that I'm for that as long as it doesn't displace people who've been here, and people who are here, who are renting or buying their home. Now, I can understand a senior citizen who bought their home at about $40,000, $35,000, sometime back 37 years ago, and get offered $500,000, $400,000, $200,000. I understand that dynamic. I think the solution to that is for the district to encourage a livable income for people, livable places for people with who want to retire and who want to still stay in the District of Columbia rather than go to no abuse to Rain and LaShawn. But I'm pro DC. I'm pro Prince George's. I'm pro a lot of things, except that when it come down to the bottom line, I'm pro DC.
Yeah, let me just say, let me just say, you know, we started this program out just saying this is our launch, and you know, we wanted to, you know, stay on a very positive on a very positive note. And frankly, I'm gonna say that this is positive. You know, the name of this outfit that houses this radio station is We Act. And as I come in and offer my voice, it is going to be a voice that is intended to cause folks to act. And I'm going to tell you something. You know, I think that there is a real vacuum of activist activity. You know, there are congressmen that cast their votes on Capitol Hill that live in this area. And I think some direct action, like showing up at their offices and at their home and at their homes, and things of that nature is something that is needed, and it's certainly going to be something that, as long as I'm able to sit behind this microphone, that I am absolutely going to be advocating. I'm going to be advocating.
Thank God for you, Rock.
I'm
Thank
telling
God
you,
for
man. No, you know, it's far too long that the District of Columbia has been treated. You know, it's not just a damn slogan, taxation without representation. It's in my estimation, it is an absurdity. The number of people, I don't want to get on a soapbox, but the number of people that have died in wars, the number of taxes that the District of Columbia residents pay, more than many, many, many states. You know, it is it's democracy. This is the nation's capital, and we don't have democracy being practiced in the nation's capital.
Yeah,
how are we going to go to
kept
some
secret.
banana republic or some, you know, place in Africa and talk about democracy?
Well,
You know,
Rock,
I mean,
that's
there's a
the problem.
certain hypocrisy and absurdity to that, and I'll be speaking about it.
Yeah, I think you ought to, because there's inconsistency.
For you.
You know, we do pay more taxes per capita than Alaska, except Alaska.
Yep.
We do play. We're going to wars. We're good citizens. Have everything. When I think about Washington D.C., I think about the Boston Tea Party, where the people in the new republic, before coming to the republic, they just got tired of it. Tired of England taxing the tea that was grown here. They're not getting any benefits from it, and so we're at the same spot.
Well, it's always been interesting to me as a native of the city why we were so slow to be activists.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yes.
whether it's the psyche of the Hatch Act, you know, people survive in that federal bureaucracy, primarily the major employer of the city, by being politically correct. You know, otherwise you could be at risk in terms of losing your very good job. But, you know, I think so much of you ask, what would it take to bring it about? It takes the spirit and will of the people. If there were an impatience on the part of the District of Columbia resident about this outrageous arrangement, with media being what it is, it would end. But there has not been that collective impatience. When we got home rule, when there was a level of that collective impatience. And maybe with a new generation or an influx of new players in Washington, individuals who are accustomed to functioning as full citizens in this country, maybe it is possible that they will express that sort of collective impatience once they feel really immersed in the city and claim the city as their home.
Sharon, thank you for that. We're just about, we've got some time here. Yes, still. Lorenzo, I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
Back to National Harbor, back to MGM Grand, and to the extent that I can, for the citizens in this metropolitan area, because what I know is that D.C., Maryland, and Virginia is going to enjoy the benefits of what your company is bringing to National Harbor.
Please come out, spend all your money in Prince George's County. We'd appreciate it.
When
Leave a little bit in D.C. now. Just a tiny bit.
when are the doors going to open?
Well, the plan is to have the casino. We still have to go through a competition for the site location, but if we're successful, we plan on building an 800 plus million. When we're successful.
Being from here like I am, we got some fellas that can go down and help make sure that
All right.
we get through that process. But I'm
but an $800 million facility, 3,500 jobs, and D.C. Will benefit from that also.
Absolutely.
Prince George's County will obviously benefit from it. 350, 400-room hotel, plus 17 food and beverage outlets. I mean, it's a phenomenal facility. But $800+ million is what we've designed at this point so far. So we'll be submitting in the RFP, and we will be successful. We've got to be positive about it, and we feel very, very good about the product we're bringing to Prince George's County.
Lorenzo, thanks so much for showing up today. We have in studio DC Shadow Senator Paul Strauss.
Good
Paul,
to be here.
what we going to do to get statehood, man?
Well, I think you're helping by just being here and talking about the issue. We're at a very interesting time in this movement because one of statehood's biggest enemies has been the National Rifle Association. We got a voting rights bill out of the House. We got a voting
Would
rights
it be
bill out of the
politically
Senate.
incorrect in the nation's capital for me to say everybody in the NRA or the leadership should all be shot? No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. That's a joke.
But I think at a time when the nation is reevaluating their relationship and their understanding of that institution and the role that they've played, we need to out them as one of the leading opponents of statehood, one of the leading opponents of democracy. And they do it simply because they don't like the way we would advocate on issues for our constituents. And this is a moment that we need to take advantage of.
Are you saying out them as in bring Wayne LaPierre out of the closet?
Well, I think out them as enemies of democratic rights. They talk about, this is an organization that supposedly is founded to protect constitutional rights, and yet they focus on one amendment, which they misinterpret, and then they work to deny us our First Amendment rights, our Fifth Amendment rights, our 14th Amendment rights. So every important aspect of the Constitution, rights that should be protecting D.C. residents, they're working against. And I think the public now realizes, given the tragedies that we've seen in Newtown, how destructive this organization has been to the body politic.
Rusharon Baker, aside from the fact that Glenda Moore Wilson lives in Prince George's County, why should residents looking to move to the metropolitan area, why should they choose PG County?
For Prince George's County? I think if you're looking for an area that's growing, that has, just think of all the things that the county has to offer. Not only are we bringing MGM down to National Harbor, we're also redeveloping around our metro stations. Thanks to the good work of Mayor Barry, we have a lot of residents that work for not only the federal government, but have good government jobs and good businesses. But I think if you're looking for the growth in the Washington area, it's in Prince George's County. I do believe, we're going to be able to work with the district to expand what you see on 8th Street and U Street and Rhode Island Avenue in the Arts District, all the way over to Prince George's County. So making this really a seamless urban area. So for young people and opportunities, it's right here in the county. Let me say this about statehood real quick. When the governor did his State of the State address this year, Mayor Gray came down. And one of the loudest applause that the governor got was when he introduced the mayor as the governor of New Columbia. And you probably wouldn't have seen that probably 15, 20 years ago. I mean, people would have looked at him like he was crazy if he'd introduced the mayor as that. So you see that, time and effort, and I think people are understanding that we're all part of this Washington region. And we, as the district goes, so do we all. But we love Prince George's County. I'd love to see people, move to Prince George's County. I think we have a lot to offer. Mayor Barry, if you want to send some folks our way, we'll take them.
Well, I tell you this.
Especially if they have high incomes.
The idea of Prince George's County and the district sort of forming a good coalition is very exciting to me, because we want to try to attract people to this region first. That's the idea of coming. And two, we are the nation's capital. And all of us feel very proud of it, whether we live in Washington or not. We are proud to be the nation. I'm proud of the nation's capital, even though it has a defect in it in terms of statehood, et cetera. So I think we just all come together. Some people would like to live in an intense urban area like we have here. Some people like to live in a little sprawling area to some extent, like Prince George's County. And then you have, enclaves of Mitchellvilles and others that are there. On the other hand, we have the U Street area now is going fast to newcomers and Shaw, and some parts of Georgetown, some parts of Foggy Bottoms, and et cetera. So we all have our attractions, and we just have to work together to help people make a choice in terms of coming to Prince George's County. I'm supposed to be for everything in Washington because I'm elected from people in Washington, but on the other hand, I recognize, particularly as black people, we have an opportunity to have this metropolitan area with Prince George's and the district. Prince George's County is already the most income-wise richest county in America. It's majority black. That's a good asset. We need to get some. And I tell you what I will take from you, Sean and Wayne.
You tell me, and I'll tell you what I'll give you.
Hold on.
We'll take some middle-class black people coming here.
Let me tell you. You mentioned the term recognize, and something that I better recognize is the fact that I need to treat my advertisers and sponsors extraordinarily well as we launch this program, and we're getting close to wrapping up. And I want to say again to those of you who are listening, who are watching via live streaming, and who are listening on the web, that the sponsors that I have, and one of them is Henry's Soul Cafe. The three sponsors that I have right now, Henry's Soul Cafe and the MGM Grand, National Harbor, MGM, and Pohanka. These are all entities that I have true personal involvement with. In addition to them being the best in class and being the best at what they do, we also, this last hour has been brought to you in part by Mount Vernon Triangle Community Improvement District, DC's newest neighborhood to live, work, and play. There you can enjoy great shopping, dining, best downtown has to offer. Visit MountVernonTriangle.org, DC's best place to be. This has been an absolutely fantastic 3 hours. I'm going to ask all of you in the listening audience to remember, we're going to be doing this every Saturday. Our effort is going to be to make this the best 3 hours in all of radio. We will be back next week, same time, same place, 9 a.m. to noon, and we care. We will be bringing it. It is WPWC 1480 AM. You can listen to it on the World Wide Web at weactradio.com and rocknewmanradio.com. I want to bid you farewell and thank all of my guests from the bottom of my heart for showing up and making this a special radio launch and a very special birthday.
Let's give Rock a round of applause. Hurry, Rock. Come on, man. There's Glenn.